So let's speed run through my watch list for next week. We start on the DXY on the weekly time frame, and we can see we still have some bearish selling pressure on the dollar, especially now since Powell hints rate cut in September, which is already priced in now. Looking here on the daily, we can see we had this very strong sell-off on Friday. On the 4-hour time frame, we can see price still respects structure fairly well. We tapped into this area of interest here and then sold off. So we had here some corrective price action, and we now get an impulsive move, or the first initial impulsive move. We tapped into this low here, and I'm now expecting some form of a smaller bear flag to then continue to the downside, at least into the next area of interest, or then even into the value area here and retesting the low. If price is taking some time here to accumulate more volume, or if we just see a momentum run on Monday, that remains to be seen. And we move on to Euro US dollar. So of course here then the inverse picture. I'm now looking again for long continuations. Since we actually tapped this low here to the left, this area of interest, we are looking for long entries. We now have a very nice impulsive move, and then again, the question is now, are we in a momentum run, or does price retrace a bit further into these levels before we see a bullish continuation? For now, we have here a small liquidity area, and that could be a first near miss, first high. So ideally, we see now price on Monday basically taking some time for a second high and then retesting this liquidity area to then enter along in this area. That would be ideally. So that would then also mean we are still in a momentum run without a too large retrace in Euro US dollar. Pound US dollar, of course, looks very similar. I'm here looking for a long continuation as well. It's basically the same like in Euro US dollar. If we are in a momentum run, then it does not take too much. A smaller two-touch nice structure or a well-structured two-touch structure would be enough here on the 1 hour for a long continuation. US dollar Canadian on the daily, we can see we had here some corrective price action, but overall we had here a very nice impulsive move, a small retrace, a V-shaped recovery, another impulsive move, and then we had this corrective price action. I'm now looking for price to retest at least this area of interest here to the left, so therefore I'm looking for a short entry. We did tap this previous small high to the left, have a nice impulsive move now on Friday, of course. Going down to the 1 hour time frame, we do have here a liquidity area, which could be a base, and I'm now looking for a structured 1 hour flag to enter a short in this area. Euro Australian dollar, it's a bit conflicting price action, because overall I'm leaning a bit more towards euro longs, Australian dollar shorts, but looking at the overall price action, we have this area of interest here. We tapped this area. We have two nice washout candles here on the daily time frame, and now we have a undecided Friday daily candle. So it's not a doji yet, but you can clearly see it is undecided. So looking down, going down to the 4 hour time frame or even to the 1 hour time frame, you can see here that looks a bit like a bearish structure in the making. We do have here this corrective piece of price action, and that could be the first low. And if we then see a structured flag here on the at least 1 hour time frame, then I would enter a trade in this area, knowing that as long as we are trading above this area here to the left, that we are in a slightly higher risk area for a short. So actually it would be better to see price first breaking impulsively through this whole area here and then followed by a continuation. That would be the better trade overall, because as long as we trade above this area, that could still develop in something bigger for a higher time frame bullish continuation to the upside. That's actually more or less what I'm looking here on Euro New Zealand dollar. So you can see here I have Euro Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar both on my weekly watch list for next week. On Euro Australian dollar, I'm looking more short, and here a more long approach. Going to the daily time frame, we can see we are also on a significant area where price could turn around and sell off. We had an initial nice bearish reaction after tapping the high, and then on Friday we had a smaller bullish candle. We have a very nice impulsive run to the upside, and overall this 1, 2, 3 finish. So it would be reasonable for price to turn around and sell off, but therefore similar to what we discussed before, I want to see an impulsive move back in, preferably even below this area here, and then followed by a lower time frame bearish continuation. Then I change my bias. But as long as we are trading around the high, and if price takes a bit more time in this area, because we can already see it slightly, especially on the 1 hour time frame, we can see this is corrective price action. So as long as we are stalling on the high, there is a higher chance for price to continue to the upside. Regular behavior would be a washout and then an impulsive move to turn around, and the longer it takes, the more likely it gets for price to continue to the upside. Euro Canadian dollar here on the 4 hour time frame, we tapped this high here to the left multiple times. We are in an area where we were looking for sell continuations. We now had a very nice 1, 2, 3 retesting the high again. Actually, we broke through very impulsively, and you can see here again, this is overall undecided price action, so it would make sense for price to break back in, followed by continuation for a short. On the other hand, with this very nice impulsive move on the 1 hour time frame, as long as we are trading above this whole piece of price action, I'm looking for longs, for a long continuation, because here the overall price action is fairly corrective. So therefore I'm looking for a long continuation. Australian dollar yen on the 4 hour time frame, we had a very nice 1, 2, 3 bullish structure, which is now finished. We had the first impulsive move, and I'm now looking for a continuation of this bullish move here. We have a potential 1, 2, 3 in the making. So if we get a fairly well structured 3-touch 1 hour bull flag structure, I'm looking for a long continuation. You see here we did not tap in anything, so price turning around from this area does not really, okay, you can argue we retested these lows here, okay, but we did not see a continuation here to the downside. So therefore overall I'm still looking for bullish continuation. Swiss francs yen on the other hand, on the 4 hour time frame, it's a bit corrective price action into a correction, so that's not ideal, but we are here on the 4 hour time frame, and we can see we have fairly well structured price action. We have here this liquidity area, we had a small gap, and we broke, or actually we closed the gap in form of a 1, 2, 3 structure within structure, had a very nice washout and a strong bullish bearish reaction on the high, and are now fully trading within the structure again. And I'm now looking on the 1 hour time frame for at least a 2-touch structure in this area for a short continuation. Pound Canadian on the daily time frame, we have some more highs to take out here. We did not even retest the start of this last impulsive move here to the downside. So this high, that would be the first area of interest for me. We can see here we had a double top, we then failed again to sell off, and we are now forming a bigger corrective continuation structure, and I'm now looking, ideally we see price coming back down one more time, because you can see here we have a small gap to this previous low here, and that would then finish an overall 1, 2, 3 structure, which could move price quite a lot higher. If you take this leg here as an impulsive leg into a correction, and then a similar way, and we can enter along here, that gives us enough room to manage the trade at least into the first area of interest, and then into the next highs here to the left. Pound New Zealand dollar on the daily time frame, we can see here we are in a very nice impulsive move to the upside. That's definitely a bullish run. We still have some room to the next high, and I'm now looking for a long continuation. You can see here again, we did not have any significant high here to the left for price to turn around, but after such an impulsive move, it might take a bit time for price to accumulate more volume, and we can see here it's very corrective price action from the high here. So I'm looking now for at least a two-touch structure, maybe even retesting these small highs here for a bigger structure for a long continuation. And New Zealand dollar, Swiss francs on the daily time frame, we were looking for a bearish continuation in this area already. I actually took a trade here, but yeah, you can find that in my trading journal. And then we had now a very nice impulsive run to the downside, and I'm looking for the run to finish and retesting the low here before we then might see a long or bigger change in sentiment. And I'm now looking on the 4-hour time frame for a structured flag. We do have a small liquidity area here. We have a gap towards it, so I'd like to see price taking some time here, forming a middle section, a new low here, and then entering a low in this area for the last leg to the downside, just to take out the previous higher time frame low here to the left. So that's it. That's my watch list for next week. Thanks for watching. See you next week. Bye bye.